Bleeding Purple Podcast.
Deep Brown steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay alive. Oh my God. 30. Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle.
Son of a bitch.
Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked off on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw. What an unbelievable play.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. What up, good sir? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice, and I can hear you too. This is several weeks in a row where I haven't screwed it up, so I feel like we might be kind of settling into a groove here with the new system. So that's exciting. You're still no baby, still for you.
No baby, yeah. You're more consistent than John DeFilippo, so that's good. That's going good for you.
Oh, shots fired to begin.
Yeah.
The episode. Bang. Let's just get right into it, because that, to me, is the story of the game. The story of the week is, I guess, for lack of a better term, the performance of the offense as a result of play selection, play calling. The offensive coordinator kind of in the meat grinder right now. I know a certain somebody, I can't remember who wrote it, but there was an article recently on some Vikings website. I can't remember who did it, but it was about him getting fired. Can you imagine that?
I might have thrown out that topic there. I didn't say he should get fired.
No, you didn't.
Of course, I just threw it out there. I threw it out there.
Should he be?
Should he get fired? Does he deserve to have a job right now with the Vikings? And I don't think he should be retained for next year. But I think they're probably going to just finish the year with him. And,
yeah.
Let him take advantage of all those hot coaching openings that he's apparently a big candidate for, according to everybody. But yeah, I just don't see any reason to bring him back. I know some people are going to be like, oh, give him another year or whatever in the offense. But with how today's NFL works, that really doesn't apply anymore. You can get a guy in there, insert him, and everything clicks like that. Look at Sean McVay. Look at Matt Nagy this year. A bunch of guys out in the NFL, like even Pat Shurmur, like he was in there doing his own thing with the Vikings in a year, and it looked good like that. So the let it simmer or whatever. Let him have another year in the system to tweak things. I don't think it's a valid excuse at this point.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't necessarily think he should be retained, but I'm having this realization that we're not even 2 minutes into this episode. We haven't. So the Vikings lost 24-10.
Yeah, well, we talked about it yesterday.
We did talk about it yesterday. I don't know. What if some people haven't heard that in the recap? By the way, if you haven't, you should. That's their bad. Yeah, you're right. Good call. Last chance opportunity for all of our listeners. If you don't listen to the post-game thing, you're going to miss stuff from now on. So anyways, the Vikings win. I agree with you. The play calling was... What did I say? They won? Oh my God!
Yeah.
This is going to be a bad episode. I can feel it already, Adam. Stuff is going to come out of my mouth. It's not going to make any sense. Okay, so the Vikings did not win.
No.
Play calling was not so good. Here's the stat. I did a little bit of research, a little bit of digging, because they didn't run enough. Well, yeah, but really, what did it actually look like? I'm watching the game right now on the television because I'm in the house instead of the garage. Two things. Well, first, Troy Aikman said this stat, and I didn't believe it. I did some research. It's true. Of their first 11 plays, 5 of them were runs. Mm-hmm. Of their first 11 plays. They finished the game with 13 rushes.
Yeah, so they ran
8 more times. Yeah, 8 more times the rest of the game.
Yeah.
That is shocking. That many were that early.
I think Dalvin Cook averaged like 9 yards a carry.
He did.
So there was no reason to give him the ball anymore.
Oh man. And yeah, man, when you start looking at stats like that, Dalvin Cook averages 9 yards a carry and only gets the ball. I mean,
it was a 10-10 game.
Yes,
by pretty much the fourth quarter.
You're taking literally everything I have written down. Is coming out of your mouth in like 30 seconds. Quit taking all my good stats. Yes, 10-10 with 56 seconds left. Well, they score then, so it's 17-10 after that. But this was not a comfortable, controlling victory for New England. This was a very close game until the middle of the third quarter, and it was, or to the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, and boom, it was over.
Yep, those two drives or whatever.
I hear people with the argument of, well, they needed to throw eventually. They had to start passing. No, man, absolutely not. That is not a good enough excuse for why they're not running the ball.
They've never really been down by a lot in the third quarter this year, I don't think. If they're down by like a touchdown or 3 points, which is still no reason to just start
abandoning the run, yes.
Especially when it's working as well as it was yesterday.
And it was.
I don't know if we just talked about this yesterday, but the Vikings have ran under 20 times 5 times this year in 5 games, and they haven't won any of those. They tied the Packers, but they lost all the other 4. They didn't run the ball under 20 times at all last year. They only ran under 30 times 3 times last year. So, and their rushing attack last year wasn't like amazing or anything, but they just kept running the ball, kept grinding it. Eventually you're going to get a big play, or like yesterday, you're going to get a big play on every run. Mm-hmm. But apparently that still didn't matter.
Yeah, almost getting a first down just is not important. It didn't matter.
Even Latavius Murray was running pretty well yesterday.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think that the rushing attack is worse this year because they don't have McKinnon? Was McKinnon that much of an asset? Was he that big of a shift? Or is this just specifically...
I don't even know if it's worse. I just don't think they just run the ball enough.
They just don't do it. Yeah.
They're averaging more. I think they're averaging more yards per carry this year than they were last year. So
it's very perplexing to me. Let's ask a bigger question. So they lose. Yeah. Who do you put the majority of the blame on? Are you on the OC for some of this? Because you got to think that Zimmer is also a little bit on the hook, because at the end of the day, it is his team, and he does have to. If he wants the ball, run more. He's got to tell them that.
Yeah, no, right? No, Zimmer does deserve, a bunch of the blame, especially the way the defense performed. But at the same time, the defense was pretty shorthanded last night, especially at corner. But Zimmer did say today in his presser or whatever that people were, not in the right spots, or doing stuff they weren't supposed to. And in my head, that's sounds like it's on you. That's on Zimmer for that being the case. It's your job to make sure everyone's prepared. If they're not, that's going to come on you. It's not going to go on George Edwards, because everyone knows he doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But then you get to the offense, and I don't like that people are saying, you need to blame Zimmer for the offense's struggles or whatever. That's not his job. That's not what he was hired to do. He was hired to fix the defense, and he has. So his focus is mainly on the defense. And he was saying yesterday, he had to focus more on the defense because of the way they were performing. He had to focus more on special teams because of the way they were performing.
A bunch of guys that aren't used to playing as much as they're playing on defense, and he's a defensive guy. Well, of course he's going to spend more time making sure that those guys understand their assignments and what they're supposed to do. Yeah, man. I mean...
And let's not forget Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They're known as, great football players and a football coach for a reason. Mm-hmm. They're 2 of the smartest people who've ever been a part of the NFL.
Yeah.
And they proved that yesterday. Even on some of the just the random throws where the 4th and 1 where Brady just throws it to the side and gets that instead of, running a QB sneak or running the fullback up the middle like everyone, like the Vikings would have done.
Yeah.
I was looking at the contrast between the Patriots offense and the Vikings offense. It looks like the Vikings offense, when they try and be creative, it's like 3 dudes, fake reverse, and then you screen, that doesn't work. And the Patriots are just like bing, bang, boom, just it's creative, but it's simple too at the same time. They just don't mess around. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where do they go from here as far as the offense is concerned. Like, do you think it's as simple as just running the ball more, or do you think this is like
just balance? Just keep it balanced. Just don't, throw a deep pass on 3rd and 8.
Yeah. Well,
don't throw a short slant to Treadwell on 4th and 12.
Down. Yeah. It's. I understand
are there any? Do they ever call a rollout? Did they ever do that?
No, I have not seen.
Kirk Cousins is athletic, isn't he?
See, he is, but he doesn't want to run. Even when he gets out there, he doesn't want to run. Here's where I'm kind of at with. I'm trying to digest this game. I'm trying to figure out why the offense was so bad. I don't want to put it all on DiFilippo because that kind of feels like putting it all on the refs. It kind of feels like it just feels like a really convenient excuse. But if you look at some of the things that they had done previously, they used to do bootlegs, and they weren't working very well, so they kind of stopped doing them. They used to run screens, but they weren't working very well, and they kind of stopped doing them. They used to run the ball when they were, earlier in the season when they were winning games, and then they kind of stopped doing it. So it's like all of these different things are adding up where it all seems to just be pointing at the play calling, and I hate blaming one dude for the whole shebang, but at this point I don't see anything else preventing them from being more productive on offense, especially when dudes are averaging 9 yards a carry and you're only giving 13 carries, but 5 were in the first 11. That's bonkers to have that ratio for the rest of the game after your first 11 scripted plays, which obviously had to have been scripted if there were 5 runs in the first 11.
Yeah, and it's not like people are hurt. It's not like he's missing key players or anything.
You could make
everybody.
You could make an argument that maybe New England was taking something away, because I think it was apparent if you were watching.
They were taking Diggs and Thielen away.
Yes, if you were watching, it was apparent that they didn't want Diggs and Thielen to be the reason they lost.
You have to know that. You have to know that going into the game.
Yes,
and when against Bill Belichick, he's going to do that. He does that to everybody.
Here's the other thing: is even if let's say they didn't know, let's say they had no idea what Bill Belichick was planning on doing to them. Even after those first 11 plays, you recognize the run is working. Let's keep doing that. You don't average 9 yards a carry, and that's everything you need to see.
Just get the ball into Dalvin Cook's hands, because obviously Thielen and Diggs are going to be covered, and so that means there's more open space for Cook to make moves, and he was doing well with the ball yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't it lead you to believe that the running game would be easier because they were trying to take away the pass?
It was.
My God, man.
And
this is not rocket science, and I don't think it's crazy. Well, it is crazy that us sitting here can do that. But the guy who's there making the decision, what bit of information do we not have as to why this isn't continuing? Is the offensive line that bad? Does he doesn't trust them? Does he not trust them to play?
It was bad last year.
I mean, there has to be a reason, doesn't there? Isn't there there has to be something that we're missing here. Can it be this simple?
It might be DiFilippo coming from Super Bowl champion and thinking he might, he knows more than the other offensive coaches that are there. They won the Super Bowl, so
Yeah, man, and I guess if you frame it like that, that's a good point, because now I'm DiFilippo, and a defensive coach is telling me what I need to do with my play calling, and he's a defensive guru, but he knows more about this offense.
And it's not like
bro. Maybe that's it.
It was kind of an outsider when they brought him in. No, there was no connections between Zimmer or anybody else on that coaching staff to DiFilippo. They just got him because I feel like he was a hot name or whatever, and he was on the Eagles and Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. They felt he had something to do with that, which apparently it seems like he really didn't.
He did not. You know who it was? It was Frank Reich. He's the quarterback whisperer. We're finding out.
He's doing good things with the Colts. I mean, they lost the Jaguars yesterday, but they're still having a better season than a lot of people thought they would.
A lot better than they were last year, that's for sure.
So, surprise, the Vikings got, the runt of the bunch. But yeah, I don't see any reason to bring him back next year. And I feel like Zimmer was kind of biting his tongue today because
100%. This is my God.
They asked him like, well, how do you feel about DiFilippo this year? And he's like, he's doing a good job. Okay. Last night when they asked him like, did they run the ball enough? He just gave it straight.
It was no. No, he did not.
That's what, like the third or fourth time he's said that this year. So
yeah. Well, he also said something last night that was kind of, I'm going to paraphrase here, but it was essentially like we need to run the ball more, like I've been saying all season. Mm-hmm. So like he's hinting that this isn't the first time or second time or third time or third week that he's been suggesting they need to run the ball more. I don't know, man.
They're going against the number one rushing offense on Monday, so they'll get to see how good they are, and they do it with 3 running backs. So it's not even like they have like one guy. Talking about the Seahawks. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we will talk about them a little bit later. Yeah, man, blame-wise, I'm going to probably go 60% DiFilippo. I'm going to go 10% Zimmer, and then the rest goes to special teams coach Mike Prefer. Yeah. Because they missed again. Do you think he deserves to have a job after this season? It's hard for me to imagine the team with him on it next year.
I don't know. I feel like him and Zimmer get along pretty well. So it might be hard for him to do that. And I feel like there's aspects of the special teams that do well. Coverage-wise, they're pretty good. Sometimes they might struggle.
You're not wrong, but I hate that argument. I hate it. Because that's for anything
because because special teams, everyone's always like kicking. That's
the
element
thing
that should be good.
Yeah,
but I did hear I think it was whatever reaction show I listened to last night that teams should have kicking coaches. Like why don't they have coaches for like the quality control or whatever, but they don't have kicking coaches or punting coaches, and the special teams guy has to worry about kicking and punting and coverage and all this stuff. Kickoff.
Jesus, it was like 4 years ago they figured out we should just make the punter the holder because he's with this guy all the time. They'd probably be better at it. So
Cluey was the holder for a while.
Was he? Yeah. But for the longest time it was the backup quarterback who was off doing.
So you could fake him out and run a fake field goal.
I mean,
like Georgia, what Georgia did, what they wanted to run a fake punt on the midfield.
So brutal. That was
what?
Brutal.
Why would you ever call that play?
John
DiFilippo phone in. Like, hey, I got the best play. I got the best play.
I saw an interview with the Georgia coach, and he said that was a play that they had run that was going to be successful. He's like, it took too long. They recognized it, and he's like, he said he knew when the ball was snapped. He was like, oh god.
Didn't they put the quarterback out there like as part of the special teams?
Oh my god,
he was the guy that got the ball.
Was it?
So you're gonna fool him by putting your quarterback out there?
I'm just telling you what he said to Scott Van Pelt, man. I'm just telling you what he said.
I don't understand how that's even a consideration.
I have no idea. It was an important part in the game too. That was a fun weekend of college football, actually. Yeah. I was going to tell you this. Also, heard an ESPN analyst say Notre Dame had big wins against blah, 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 blah. Syracuse, who's a great team this year. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they're playing the second best team in the ACC. They're playing West Virginia in the Camping World Bowl or whatever. The over-under for that game is like 75 points.
Awesome.
So it's going to be very deep.
Classic. That's so great.
Yeah.
I know the Gophers are playing in a bowl game, too, and I don't know what the name of the bowl is. But they're playing Georgia Tech.
It's always like the Arby's roast beef sandwich bowl or something.
100%. The CapitalOne.com What's in Your Wallet bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that probably...
That is a...
Copyright me. Don't... just want to go on record. That's my idea. Where were we? Yeah, man. I don't know. Prefer... I'm donezo with this. Oh, yeah. That argument. You're bad at kick. I don't care how good your coverage is. I don't care how good your offensive line is. If your quarterback can't play and you keep going with that guy, or you keep bringing in new guys and they are bad as well, get out. I ain't got time for this. Special teams are
Valid.
frustrating.
Valid argument. I think, if the Vikings don't get to where they want to be this year, you got to make some changes. That's how it is every year. They have the tools. Just need the right people to lead them in the right direction.
Here's the other thing, last thing about the special teams, specifically kicking. Why do guys, Daniel Carlson, cannot make a field goal to save his life here, go someplace else, game winners, no problem? Is there less pressure involved? Sure.
Blair Walsh didn't do too hot after he left the Vikings.
Fair point.
Where's Kai Forbath? He got a job?
It's too soon. That's not his fault. That's too soon. Nobody's gotten rid of a kicker yet. He's just hanging out.
Chargers have signed like 6 kickers this year.
That can't be accurate. That cannot be accurate. There's no way. Kai Forbath would have a job if there were 6. Oh, man.
Made a game-winning kick last night.
So,
They're like the Vikings kicking of the AFC. Chargers are.
They are. Well, yeah, did you see how many chances he got to kick that thing at the end of the game?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Why can't we have that? Yeah, God. So it's just...
Yeah, surprised you didn't blame the refs for the game last night, because that's what everyone else wanted to blame the result. That the Patriots got all the calls when they got a bunch of calls on them too. So
I cannot stand that. I hate that argument. That's like the biggest cop out to me.
That's like,
the game's rigged.
That's like it's like in a UFC fight, if it goes to the judges, like that's your fault from getting in there. You didn't perform well enough for that not to matter.
I just don't. The whole argument is insane to me, because what you're suggesting when you say like, "Oh, the refs, it's rigged." So what you're suggesting is that like there's 32 teams in this league, and like everybody's in on it, and the refs know, but everybody that goes to New England just gets like hosed and like
because the NFL loves the Patriots.
Yeah, we've seen that. You know what?
They looked into harder to figure out if they inflated balls or not than
this domestic than the Kareem Hunt thing.
Yeah, than what Kareem Hunt did.
Couldn't find that video. Have security footage of the guy going to the bathroom with the balls like in New England.
DMZ comes along with a little cash. And,
totally.
What do you know? Oh, yeah, sure, here you go.
Yeah, we'll take that. Oh, man. Yeah.
He didn't get picked up today, by the way, Kareem Hunt, which is good.
Yeah.
Maybe some people are learning. The Redskins are learning.
Because here's the thing about that. The Redskins are fine because nobody's talking about the Redskins anymore. Everybody's talking about Kareem Hunt already. So they're gravy, man. It's over for them. As far as the PR nightmare is done. They don't care.
Well,
and here's the other thing something that has been bothering me a little bit is there seems to be an assumption that NFL teams are going to do what's right. And that's bonkers.
No.
They're not interested in doing what's right. Yes, they're interested in making the most money.
It's like, if you're a law firm and your best lawyer or whatever gets convicted of domestic assault or whatever, you're going to treat him differently, a lot differently than someone who's not, as good at their job. Just like any other job. If they're going to make you a lot of money, it's going to be, like it's a pretty tough decision. But I think the Chiefs did the right thing.
Let's talk about that for a little bit, though. Did they do the right thing? Because they cut him not because of what he did. They cut him because he lied to him about it.
Right.
Is that the right thing?
Well, he wasn't charged.
It's true.
And apparently they didn't see the video until everyone else saw the video, which is I don't entirely put the blame on the Chiefs, because I think the NFL told them to stop looking for the video.
Yeah.
The NFL deserves a little more blame than the Chiefs does.
Not to make excuses, but if you are, say, you're the NFL, not the NFL because that's maybe a little bit different, but you're the Chiefs. You hear about this incident, you call the police. You say, hey, what happened? Can you tell us? Oh, there's 2 reports. One was your player was the victim. One, the woman was the victim. As the Chiefs, those are, which is evidently common. I'm reading that that kind of 2-victim report is not uncommon. So as the Chiefs, and you hear that, you see that, and there's no charges filed, and the cops say they have already viewed the video. I don't know if I can...
And no charges. Yeah, no charges.
Yeah, I don't know if I can throw a fit about them being like, well, okay. And then you bring the dude in and you ask him what happened. He's like, oh, I did nothing. She hit me. I didn't hit her at all. Okay, so you're promising us that didn't happen. Yep, promise. Okay, the video comes out. Hey, you lied to us. You're cut.
Yeah, I think this is it's another learning experience for NFL teams that, no matter what, if you have access to a video of an incident, you need to find that video and see it. So you avoid situations like this, because if there was a video of what Tyreek Hill did a couple years ago, he would not be in the NFL.
No.
Right. But there's no video, so he's, one of the stars of the NFL right now.
And that's maybe sad, and it's unfortunate, but it's true, and it's not going to change. And it's the same way with Kareem Hunt. If that video doesn't exist, he's still a Chief, and there's no... It's just normal now. And I don't want to say the expectation, but the idea that these NFL teams are going to do a bunch of detective work to try and figure out if their best players need to get kicked off the team, you're crazy. That just isn't going to happen. So I don't know. It's to frame that expectation is kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But to react to it the way they did, I think was a good move. Can you expect anything else from an NFL team? What would you want, Adam, from that situation, I guess?
Me personally, if you get, a police report written up for you, like an incident like this for assault or domestic assault or whatever, you should be, temporarily removed or whatever from the team until everything is figured out. You shouldn't be allowed to practice, shouldn't be allowed to play or whatever, until everything's figured out. And if you're found to be, not guilty or whatever, or not just by the law or whatever, but by the league's investigation and your team's investigation, then you can come back. But if not, then you're gone. I don't think there should be any tolerance for anything like that. I don't care if she started it or whoever started it. If you hit a man or a woman, you should face a penalty. Playing in the NFL is a privilege. You get multi-millions of dollars to play a game, and to think that you're just able to do whatever you want because you're an NFL player is not the case. You should be punished.
Not the case.
I don't know if there's any other way really to get it through to people that unless there's a zero tolerance policy where if you do something like that, you're gone forever. You don't get a second chance, and it's too bad, but that's how it should be.
I agree with you, because there's no way to get that behavior to stop in that kind of a workplace until it's a zero tolerance, until guys are losing their careers over it. I agree with that completely. Here's the thing that's interesting to me is that we're assuming that the NFL and teams are going to investigate the reason that they're making all this money. For the NFL to want to investigate players who are helping them make billions of dollars, I think what we need to do is get a third party, somebody who has no, bias, I guess, for lack of a better term, have them do the investigation and do all that stuff. And then we don't have to worry about it, because then it won't matter if it's charges or if it's a video or if it's this or if it's that. We have this independent third group to go over these incidents and figure out what the course of action is.
Is there a league or I think it's the UFC that has some separate entity deals with the drug testing.
Yeah, it just makes more sense to do that, because to assume that a $1 billion entity is going to investigate the things that help them make billions to try and kick them out of what makes them billion. I mean, I know the NFL is proud of the shield or whatever, but I don't think they're going to sabotage their own bottom line like that,
Well, at the same time, they have thousands of players that make them lots of money. So losing a few, I don't think is the worst thing in the world, especially if they're giving you a bad image.
That's a good point, I guess.
If Tyreek Hill was gone, I don't think people would like the Chiefs any less or any more. If Jameis Winston wasn't, on the Bucs, I don't think people would like the Bucs any less or any more. If you don't have good people on your team, people aren't, I think it actually draws less people to not that there's a whole lot of less people that decide, like, I don't want to watch football anymore, but there's been a significant more amount of people who are like, I'm just done with this league because, they just let their players do what they want. So, but, I mean, they're still going to have a huge fan base, so it's hard for anyone to make a real impact. But
yeah, see, and that's the thing is, it's like, do you assume that the NFL is big enough to sustain that, or do you assume that they're concerned enough about it to not want to jeopardize it?
For now they are, but, until a network is like, hey, we're not going to show your highlights, or hey, we're not going to air your games, then I don't think anything's really going to change.
Yeah. Well, and when does that happen? When you're signing like literally $3-5 billion TV contracts,
it's a gold mine for networks.
For sure.
For now, until the XFL comes along. So.
Yeah, or the Alliance, whatever, with a lot of big names: Brad Childress, Bill Polian, that Wisenhunt guy. Jared Allen, Mike Singletary.
Did you say Brad Childress?
Yep, yep. I think that's all I got. I don't know anybody else that's involved. But.
There's a couple Vikings. I think Weineke's on there.
Oh, really? Leslie Frazier? No. Where's Leslie Frazier these days? Is he in Buffalo? Oh, that's right. Didn't he get his play calling duties revoked recently?
No, season? I think they're.
Was that last season? It all runs together. So, anyways, good talk about the Kareem Hunt thing. That was, we don't usually touch on controversial topics on this show, but I thought we handled that well.
'Tis the season. So.
It is. Yeah, no kidding, right? Back to the Vikings. They lost. However, not a shocking outcome. Yeah. They went to New England. No. They lost to New England in December. It's not crazy. It's not the end of the world.
Does anyone win in New England in December?
No. The answer is no. Not since 2000.
I think every person who looked at the schedule before the season even started was like, oh, that's a loss.
And if you looked at it and thought, oh, that's a win, you were crazy.
So now the season, so now for some people the season's over because they lost to the Patriots in December on the road.
Yes, man.
Them.
It's Vikings Twitter is like lit right now. People are going nuts. This team is like,
it's like that dog sitting in the fire.
Totally.
The GIF, just sitting there calmly, and everything else is on fire. And
this is fine. It's totally fine. Fine. Chaos. But if we pump the brakes and we chill out a little bit and we look around and we see what the NFC playoff picture looks like, they're not that far out of it. I've seen statistics. Yeah, man, they're in the 40 to 50% chance on the playoffs range right now.
I think it's almost 60.
So I mean, come on,
like 58.
Chill, everybody. And all they got to do
lose tonight, they're back in the 6th seed.
And all they got to do is, and then they got the Seahawks Monday, and if they win that game, then you're in business. Then you're almost like, I don't want to say guaranteed a playoff spot, but you would have to do some serious losing after that.
You want to know how many games the Seahawks have lost at home on Monday night since 2005?
How many, Adam?
1.
Wow.
That was last year to the Falcons.
Awesome. To the Falcons. That's interesting.
Yep. But before that, and you want to know how many wins the Vikings have on Monday night since 2010?
God, like one?
One. Yeah, that was last year against the Bears.
That's awesome. It's great.
So they're trending in the right direction. But.
All I think when I think of bad Vikings primetime Monday night is who's the quarterback? That Josh Freeman.
Whew. Yeah.
That was...
that game, and I think was
tough.
Favre's game at TCF when they knocked him out on the turf. Was that Monday night?
I think so.
The Jets, when Favre threw to Moss, that was a Monday night game.
I don't know if the Favre one was a Monday night. Was that No, because the Thursday one that they played because the roof caved in, I think was in Detroit, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they played the Bears on Monday night a bunch and just lost because it's in Soldier Field. Like the Vikings, I feel like they hardly play Monday night ever at home. It's like
I can't remember any recently, I don't think.
The ESPN does not like going to Minnesota, like
can't blame
in the winter.
It's cold.
Why? I was talking with this hockey player last week, and he was saying he was going back home to Manitoba. It's like minus 30. I'm like, minus 30? And I forgot he was talking Celsius. So
yeah,
like,
different.
Oh, okay.
Minus 30. What are you doing? Get out of there.
Can you even go outside?
That's not where people shouldn't be in that.
That's like Minnesota.
Yeah, it's cold. It sucks out right now. And it snowed over the weekend, so it just is totally, we're settling in. It's real. Winter is
Christmas time.
Yep, it's here. So yeah, man, the Vikings, they're probably going to make the playoffs. Are you concerned? Concerned isn't the right word. Do you think they can beat Seattle? I guess. Yeah, I think they can beat Seattle. Do you expect them to beat Seattle is the real question.
Can they beat them? Yeah. Will they beat them? Probably not, unless some strange shenanigans go on. And what we've said in the past, before this, we even talked about this game, that the Seahawks are not the same Seahawks.
Nope.
You know, they were of the past that were amazing on defense and pretty good on offense. I think the teams they beat are very similar to the teams they beat this year. They beat the Cardinals, they beat the 49ers, they beat the Packers, the Lions. So it's not like they're beating a bunch of, you know, amazing teams either. So it could be pretty fairly matched. They do have the number one rushing offense in the league. The Vikings are pretty good at stopping the run this year. And Russell Wilson's just really not throwing the ball a whole lot. I think he's averaging like 225 yards a game. He's only had like one 300-yard game this year. So they're taking the load off of his shoulders, you know, because they're running the ball more. So not as much pressure is on the quarterback's shoulders. It's weird how that happens.
It's a novel concept, but it doesn't work.
You know, they have some weapons on offense. Tyler Lockett, I think he's averaging like almost 17 yards of reception. So they have some weapons in the passing game. Obviously, Russell Wilson can make things happen with his feet. And then they got guys on defense. They're not like the biggest names, but they're scrappy. But they're giving up a bunch of yards. I think they've given up around like 350 yards at least over the last 6 games to opposing offenses. So
yeah.
They're beatable.
I think this has got to be like coin flip game. There's, you know, we talked about the like groups of like teams, and there's like the upper group, which is like the, you know, the Saints and the Rams, and this is like the middle group is the Vikings, Seahawks, Dallas, Panthers. Washington, Panthers. There's like a group of them here. So I feel like the Vikings can win this game, even though it is in Seattle, and that scares me. But
are the Bucks inching in there?
No, man, you can't. No,
they're still alive.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of teams still alive, but I think they're donezo. I also think Carolina is donezo too, because I think Cam just 4 interceptions, man.
I don't know what's going on.
What is up with that? I've been watching them kind of closely because of my prediction on the Norv Turner thing, so I'm happy that they're not making the playoffs. But
they were 6-2.
Yeah,
4 weeks ago.
They're falling apart. So yeah, I think this is like, I don't know.
So
I don't want to assume. I don't want to assume that the Vikings are going to make the playoffs, but it sure feels like the rest of the NFC is just going to like shake itself out, because all those teams are so, like the Carolinas and like those teams, the Bucks, are so bad at times that it feels like they're just going to, you know, lose their way.
I mean,
but the Vikings are very capable of losing their way out of the playoffs, dude.
If the Vikings win on Monday, they could easily win the division still. The Bears are playing the Rams this week.
Yeah. Does Trubisky come back this week?
Sure, whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's not like he's amazing.
What do you think the chances are the last game of the season against Chicago is like for the division is like an actual game worth?
Could. And then they'd probably, whoever wins that game, those teams would just meet again in the playoffs and be at home. So
that would be fun, actually.
Because if the Vikings win, they beat the Seahawks, and the Bears lose, and the Vikings are only a half game behind for the division, and the Vikings have to play the Dolphins and the Lions. I think the Bears have to play the Packers and the Cardinals. The Cardinals or the 49ers, one of those teams. And then the Vikings. So yeah,
it's very possible.
You know who's not going to make the playoffs? It's the Packers.
The Packers. They fired their head coach. Did you know, even though he's not their coach, there's still a road named after him right outside of the stadium in Green Bay? Yeah, because evidently that's a thing they do when their head coaches.
I want to change that.
No, they can't. It's just there. It's Mike McCarthy Way. That's the road to get to the stadium. And I guess there's a Holmgren one, and that's what they do. If you win a Super Bowl, you get it's like statues in Norman, Oklahoma.
Of course, Wisconsin will give you a street sign.
Yeah, so fun.
High quality they are.
What do you make of the whole firing, like, in general? Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it was, I don't want to say rude, because who cares? It's professional football. But do you think the timing was interesting, or do you think the timing was, what do you make of the timing?
I think he was on thin ice last week. So, just losing to the Cardinals at home.
It's a tough pill to swallow if you're a Packer fan.
Yeah, you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, season's over.
I think maybe the Packers just want to see what they have with someone different in there. Calling different plays. Mm-hmm. Maybe help you look for something going into next year. But that's a big time, job for coaching candidates to get next year. You get Aaron Rodgers. He's not the Aaron Rodgers of old.
No, but he's not bad. I mean, he's obviously not bad.
You put him in a Sean McVay type offense, he's throwing for 5,000 yards.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. But who do you bring in who's going to look at Aaron Rodgers and be like, I got you, dude. I'm an offensive genius. And Aaron Rodgers looks back and is like, I believe you. Let's do this.
I've heard Cliff Kingsbury, Josh McDaniels.
There's part of me, maybe Josh McDaniels, I'd give you that because of the Super Bowl New England equity. But I feel like there's a huge
John DeFilippo.
God, please, God, please. Let him interview today. They should run down to the office.
Yeah.
Hey, Flip, you want to go check out that opening over there?
Maybe.
Oh, Hugh Jackson. Oh, God, no. Stop what we're doing. New segment. Top 5 best candidates for the Green Bay opening. I'll start. Number 1.
Dennis Green.
John DeFilippo. That was snorted. You can't pick dead guys. Number 1, John DeFilippo. Number 2, Hugh Jackson. I think that's a great call. I'm very into that. Number 3, Mike McCarthy again. I'll give you, okay. 4, who's defensive guy? He's in, Bob McAdoo. I'd be interested in that.
Not Bob McAdoo. He's a basketball player. What's his face?
Ben McAdoo.
Ben McAdoo. Yeah, Bob McAdoo.
Who's the former Saints, former Rams, current Browns defensive coordinator? He's the interim over there.
Oh, Greg Williams?
Yeah, I think he's garbage too. And, he's probably already got the interview because we know how often he gets asked to be the head coach places. So he's probably already talking to him. So
maybe Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia could go there. Mm-hmm. Him and Mike McCarthy. He looks like Mike McCarthy with a beard.
He does a little bit, yeah. Shape is similar. Who else would be a good candidate? What? I don't know. I think that's good. Norv is a great idea. I think Norv should.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. Okay. Too many Super Bowls for me. I wouldn't vote that. Tom Coughlin. He can go over there. That guy's about to croak, so that'd be fine.
He's pretty old.
Yeah, he's super old. He was in Jackson.
Leslie Frazier. He can go there.
I'd be okay
Mike
with that.
Tice.
Oh, God, you beat me to it. That's the one. Straight up to the top of the list. Mike Tice. That was good. That was a good little segment there, Adam. That was
Does he get his own personal brand of number 2 pencils if he becomes the Packers coach?
100%. And instead of the number 2 in the oval, it'll be the G.
Yeah. Gotta need that pencil.
So, yeah.
Do they have lakes in Green Bay? 'Cause I think that might be a deal breaker if they do.
I don't think they have lakes in Green Bay, but there's a lot of lake. Well, ask anybody from Wisconsin; they'll tell you that there are more lakes in Wisconsin than there are in Minnesota. Even though Minnesota, that's their claim to fame, because that's what Wisconsin people do, Adam, is they talk about all of the things that make them better than Minnesota.
Well, they weren't better than Minnesota last week.
Nope,
They lost in like every sport. So.
they did. Yeah, that was great. Got the axe. I mean, it was a good week. And then, the Packers fire their head coach. So, realistically, though, who do you actually think could maybe be coaching in Green Bay next year? I mean, obviously, it's still early, but do you think they go with like a college coach, or do you think? I think there's. Say it again.
Probably Josh McDaniel. I'd put good money on that. For some reason, people think he's a head coaching candidate.
I don't understand that either.
I don't know. Sometimes it's the second time around that, helps guys out. Most of the time it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But usually guys, especially if you go back to the Patriots and pretend like you had something to do with Tom Brady being awesome, then, you look better.
Yeah, that's not a very successful coaching tree that's come out of New England since that.
No. I mean, and then I would look at any of the assistants from the Chiefs or the Rams.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Good call. The Chiefs running backs coach. I don't know if he's running backs coach or his offensive coordinator. I think Eric Bieniemy used to be with the Vikings. So yeah, and John Gruden, and maybe get him over there.
John Gruden.
He used to coach with the Packers, so maybe Andy Reid over there.
Do you think there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers asks for a trade this offseason? No.
He just signed a new contract.
Doesn't talk to his family. Can't put anything past this guy. You do whatever he wants.
That shouldn't matter how good of a football player he is. Some people don't even have parents.
Well, yeah. And that's why the ones with parents should be talking to their parents, because it's rude not to, Aaron Rodgers.
I think it probably makes him better because he's probably angry all the time.
He goes on distracted. So the Seahawks, do you think, do you want to do like a prediction? I mean, it's still kind of early because it's a week from today. I mean, Granted, 1 day difference, but do you want to do a prediction? How are you feeling about it? It's still early.
I don't know if I'll be able to even do a podcast because my wife's due date is that Tuesday.
Yeah. God, I didn't even think about that.
Might be a little preoccupied.
Okay. Well, keep me posted on that.
I will.
And good luck. Everything will be fine. You'll be fine. But yeah, that's not the time you want to do podcasts. You should make sure that.
No, I don't think she would appreciate it.
It's important. Here's my story about having a baby with the Vikings playing. It was opening game, San Francisco, Monday night, when San Francisco destroyed the Vikings, and they wore those super cool black uniforms that I like so much. I asked the nurse if I could have the TV and wheel. My kid was in the ICU, and I was like, not a big deal if I just take him into the room to watch us, right? And she's like, no, you can't do that. I was like, okay. But I did ask. I had to ask. But I'll never forget that stupid, horrible game. Yeah, because that would have been my kid's first experience with me, is screaming and throwing my Mountain Dew bottle at the television. It would have been dangerous.
I think that was the last time the Vikings actually wore those all-white uniforms. They haven't worn them since.
That was a rough game.
I did hear the Seahawks are wearing their color rush uniforms on Monday, so it'll be the lime green. Yeah. So I don't know if the Vikings are going to wear anything. If they're going to, because if they're going to go all white, I don't think they go all purple and all green. That would just
be
not
the bomb
look good for people's eyes.
Color rush, bub. That'd be a rush of color. That would be intense.
Yeah, that'd be like seizure-inducing.
Do you like the color rush jerseys, especially the Vikings, like the all purple and the gold numbers?
Some of them. I wish the Vikings had black jerseys.
Yeah,
like, all black pants. But people are like, no, I don't want that.
Who's like that? I would love.
There's a bunch of people that. Then there's people who like the '90s Vikings uniforms.
Yeah. Shame on those people.
Yeah. So. I don't know.
Terrible
I
uniform.
liked it when they had the throwbacks, when the Vikings wore the throwbacks, like during the Favre era and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
For some reason, the NFL is like, no, you can't have two different helmets, so you can't do that.
Sometimes the NFL, it's
about safety.
About safety. Give me a break. Yeah. Get out of here with that garbage. Can't have two helmets, but so the Packers haven't worn the brown helmets since then because the NFL said they can't.
You just take the decal off. That's what the Bears do too.
It's just so dumb.
Although, what do the Rams do? Because they wear those yellow helmets.
Do they?
Their color, right?
I don't know if they do. I think they. I thought
they
had the white ones.
No, and then they wear the white with the regular uniforms. So what's going on?
Do they get to break the different helmet rule because they're in LA?
Yeah.
What the?
Probably.
See, here's another example, Adam. Refs are screwing us. Uniform officials are screwing us. NFL.
Well, we get stripped of that stuff. We get stripped of like the Patriots' old uniforms because they had white helmets, so they can't wear those.
Cool.
The Bucks can't wear their creamsicle uniforms because they had white helmets. Like, they're really missing out on.
Seriously.
A whole like another merchandise line.
That's what I was saying. That's revenue. That's merchandise. Come on, man. Figure it out, NFL. Give me a break.
They'll bring it back.
Someday. God, I hope so. Do you want to do a prediction for Seahawks game?
Sure, why not?
Let's do it. What do you think?
I mean, I haven't picked the Vikings to lose all year, so I'm doing pretty well.
I was thinking about that last week because my buddy asked me, he's like, so you didn't pick the Vikings, did you? And I thought, like, I picked like 4 times, and I picked the Vikings every time. That was the week to not pick the Vikings, was in New England in December.
But, I mean, they had a chance.
They did.
It was close until the fourth quarter, pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
and it was like 5 plays and it was over.
They had chances.
Yes, I wanted to bring this up. We hadn't discussed it. I didn't get to mention it previously. Several missed opportunities. Double move from Thielen early in the third quarter that was overthrown. Mm-hmm. That could have been, I don't know if it's a touchdown, but that's an important play in the game. Okay.
It was put in the spot where only he could get it. But.
I would agree with that, but he didn't get it, and that was a missed opportunity.
Covered. So, yeah.
Quit making excuses for this offense, Adam.
He usually makes those catches, though. So
I mean, he does. That's what I'm saying, though. That's a missed opportunity. I also thought the interception in the end zone. What did you make of that? Did you think? I think he should have caught it. Missed opportunity. I'm not saying he.
It would have been
no, yeah. And it was Robinson, so like whatever. That's cool, but missed opportunity.
End of the game, desperation, trying to make a big play. That was fourth quarter, but they were only down 7 points when that happened. Yeah.
So that's not like a desperation heave. You're only down a score.
Yeah, but you're not moving the ball on offense at all, so you're just trying to find the spark.
I don't disagree.
And Robinson was playing. He was playing pretty well last night.
Yeah, I'm just saying, missed opportunity. He catches that ball, they score. It's a tie game. Totally different scenario.
For a while there, I didn't think Treadwell was going to see the ball thrown his way, but then apparently Cousins was like, "Oh, I remember he's really good on fourth down, so I'm going to throw him the ball."
Could you think of anything worse to do on fourth down than give the ball to Laquan Treadwell 7 yards short of the first down? I cannot.
There's a couple of things. You could throw to an offensive lineman. That might be a little bit worse.
Well, they're not eligible receivers, so
I don't even
legally speaking, I don't think there's any.
Yeah, I don't even know if that would be worse because they might break a couple tackles.
For real. So. Okay, back to the prediction segment. What's your prediction for Seattle?
I just had to get my weekly rip on Treadwell.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's not miss out.
We'll go. I'll follow you. I'll get 28-24 Vikings.
28-24 Vikings.
Because the one thing the Vikings have to watch out for is hanging on to the ball, because I think the Seahawks have recovered, or they forced like 13 fumbles this year. So
that's a lot.
They're going to be going for the ball. And they'll probably watch tape of Dalvin Cook and be like, "Oh, he fumbles," and watch tape of Kirk Cousins and be like, "Oh, he fumbles." So protecting the ball is going to be pretty critical.
Really important. Really
Sunday,
important.
especially in a loud crowd. You're not going to be able to hear anything. Don't hang on to the ball, please, Kirk Cousins. Just get rid of it.
Yeah. I think they can
run
do
the
it.
ball, take the crowd out of it. So
If they don't run the ball this week, they'll never run the ball. We should just stop asking. We should stop hoping because it ain't going to happen.
no.
Because you
I don't
have
expect-
to
I
do
don't-
that.
No, for the rest of the year, I don't expect anything to really change.
Me neither.
Even
honestly.
if Zimmer's like, we need to run the ball more, I just don't.
That ain't
DiFilippo's set in his ways. He'll be like, oh, we were down, so I had to.
I'm going to go 28-14 Vikings. I feel like they're going to run the ball enough to I think they're going to hit big plays in the passing game because of it. Because of all this pressure that's being put on it. Or not pressure, but because of all the talk that's happening about it. Because Zimmer's being asked about it, I feel like it's going to be more than 5 of your 11 scripted plays are going to be runs. I feel like they're going to expand on that a little bit.
How much would the sky be falling if Case Keenum and the Broncos made the playoffs and the Vikings
didn't? Yeah, I would say
not for either of us because
No.
I think we're level-headed
yeah.
people.
I would
But
go
people
8.5, 9. I would
people
say
out
the
of the
like
woodwork
panic.
become like see.
Yeah. Oh God, it would be. I probably wouldn't
Oh, what?
go on Twitter for a week. Probably.
Yeah, and that's super tough AFC.
Yeah, dude. I just to look at that scenario and be like, that one's better than this one, and not take into account any of the like different circumstances or different schedules or different. You know, what does Case Keenum do if he's on this team and they have to play the Rams and they have to play the Seahawks and they have to play the Patriots and they have to play the Saints and they have to play the
Yeah,
I don't know if Case Keenum wins
really
as many
think that-
games as Cousins has. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really think their record would be any different with Keenum in there. It's not an argument to be had.
No.
If you really think Keenum would be doing well if he was throwing 40 times a game? No.
No. You
The
know,
best
honestly,
games he had,
dude,
he was like through 25 times a game.
that's the way to look at it. Maybe it would be better for the team as a whole because they wouldn't have confidence in their passing game because it was Case Keenum and they would be forced to run. And then because they're running the ball, the pass would open up. I don't know. It's fun to speculate
like
about,
first couple of games, Dalvin Cook had like in his career, he had like 30 touches a game and then busted his ACL.
Yep, he did.
And now they're like, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of pitch counts in general.
No.
But I also
Like,
I'm not a big fan of giving Dalvin Cook the ball 100 times in like one game.
no, there's a happy medium. Though.
I was just going to say that. I feel like there's somewhere in between that we could find a happy medium there, and maybe the Vikings could be successful from a rushing standpoint, and then also from points and victory standpoint. Something to think about.
One last point.
Yeah.
Did Latavius Murray get that first down?
I don't think so.
No, he did not. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, probably a
Bill
good
Belichick
half
certainly
yard.
didn't think so. He told Thielen about it.
I thought that was good, though, because Thielen was calling him on the malarkey that injured dude gave him time to think.
Was.
And that is
The Patriots-
accurate.
Patriots shenanigans. Thielen was probably the most mad I've ever seen him after a game. Like in his presser, somebody asked him like, "Oh, how do you think like so and so did well on you?" And he was like, "I don't know. Go look at the tape." I was like, "Whoa!"
Hey, man, Detroit Lakes, we don't talk like that, bub.
Yes, he was fuming because he was probably getting chipped and stuff out there. That's how
He
they were-
was. I have been watching this thing. They're like one highlight or montage, I guess, is just draped all over him, holding him like crazy. He was frustrated. It's
And
to
he
be
dropped
expected.
some passes that he knew he probably should have had, so he was probably frustrated. But I like to see a little fire in Thielen.
Gotta love the
Same
fire. Yeah, and to be able to
But,
stand up to.
Let's not start this argument where like, oh, Odell Beckham does it and he's a nuisance, but if Thielen does it, then it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's totally different. I didn't see Thielen punching a ceiling fan.
No.
Ceiling
fan.
Aside,
It's definitely time for this episode to be over.
If he punched a ceiling fan, we got other problems.
Things that have- All right. Well, on that note, good to talk to you. Skull Vikes. Pick up a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Also, pickandshovelware.com.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the episode. All right, but Skull Vikes. Talk to you later.
Cool.